There's a cost for everything.
100%.
There's nothing for free. And I think we forget that.
Nothing is easy. Nothing is free. If you want to be successful, you have to pay the price.
Okay, guys, welcome to the weekend update, Halloween edition. Listen, nothing is free except for tonight. Unless you're the owner of the home, then you've spent copious amounts and had to refill a few times on candy. I've got my coffee. I've got a lot to do ahead of our Halloween party tonight, but I wanted to share with you a few tricks and a few treats that have come up this week, starting with the primary story of the week, which is the Fed cutting the funds rate by 0.25%. So I did a preview earlier this week about what happened on Fed Day. I'm going to share some stories in here. Links will be on the weekend update dashboard. Right now, rates jumped almost overnight about 20 basis points, but you're going to get some confusion. Even AI is a little bit confused because Freddie Mac comes out with their weekly mortgage survey on Thursday. So they got their information out a little bit late about the previous week's rates in relation to the Fed announcement on Wednesday of the cut. So they basically were using an old average of rates, and it looks like interest rates may have come down from their survey when in fact rates were up almost 0.25%. Now they had reached the almost 1 year lows prior to that. And I'm going to show you guys here on this chart. Our last Fed cut was in September 17th. And we saw, if you're kind of looking at this chart right here, we saw rates in the 10-year Treasury jump up after that for about a 30-day period as we approached Wednesday's rate cut. And so what we did with most of our clients, really all that we could, we locked them in ahead of the Fed rate announcement because we figure, hey, if past is prologue, we're probably going to get a bounce. So instead of the normal weekly summary that I'm going to put in the dashboard, I'm going to actually show you guys a little bit historically what's happened when the Fed has either raised rates or cut rates like they've started to do, and how that's actually having the inverse relationship with the interest rates that people are paying. So net, we're up about 0.25%, but we're off the lows of almost a year. So rates are still really good. Now, the big question is in September, we knew we had a pretty strong forecast that October would be another cut. What Fed Chair Powell stated very clearly on Wednesday's press conference was that not only was there some dissent, there was certainly one outlier that said we should cut 50 basis points. If you follow the Fed, you kind of know that that person is really in lockstep with what the administration wants to do. Now, the Fed is an apolitical body, and it doesn't seem like that so much with this particular Fed chair, but there were actually a few that said, there was one that said we shouldn't be cutting rates this time, which means they're probably not on board with cutting rates in December. And there are others, both voting members and non-voting members. There is a difference. Some vote, some don't, that they see it being difficult to project a rate cut in December. So in September, we knew that we were going to likely get a cut in October. Now sitting here in October, we're not sure that we're going to get a rate cut in December. So what does that mean? It just means, as I said in the preview, that those that are fortunate enough to have purchased a home, whether recently or owned it for a long period of time, generally are sitting on a good amount of equity. They have an opportunity now to stand out from competition and offer financing incentives that can get rates in the mid to low fives or further, depending on product type, and help an eager buyer make that purchase decision and close today. So I expected to see a bounce. We saw a bounce. And fortunately, most of our clients are locked in, those that are looking for long-term fixed rates. CNBC story here again, mortgage rates jumped 20 basis points following the Fed rate cut. That story will be linked, as well as kind of this breakdown, which I think is really important. It helps you understand why and when the Freddie Mac weekly rate report comes out and how that can cause some confusion as to what actually is happening in interest rates. I've been doing this for over 20 years, guys, and listen, this is nothing new. Generally, folks have the mindset or the idea that when the Fed cuts rates, mortgage rates go down. Now, here's the good news is that rates on everything else have gone down as the Fed brings interest rates down. And that's good for our overall economy, not just homeowners. What's good for the overall economy is generally really good for homeowners. So those are kind of the tricks of the market this week is that Fed cuts rates, mortgage rates go up. What does that mean? Try to get you guys some tools to help explain that to borrowers. But here is the treat. So less than early January, we closed for a client on a single family home in Escondido. It was a bit of a fixer. We put less money down because we wanted to have the funds to build a pool, to do some roof repairs on an addition that had been done. If you know Escondido at all, you know a lot of homes have sunrooms and additions out the back because they have the space there. Problem is that can create some issues for these older homes with the roof leaks, etc. So we needed the capital to invest not in the mortgage, but into the home. Now the home was bought under $950,000, and today, without any calculation or without any appraisal yet, just looking at the comparable sales, this home is estimated about 115. So we bought in the low nines without doing anything in a market that's been, better at the lower end for appreciation, in entry level, more affordable homes in the San Diego market, anyways, around $1 million. He's seen a tremendous upside now because he bought a fixer, used his down payment funds to actually reinvest into the property. Now we're looking at a new mortgage. You guys, you've heard me talk about our all-in-one loan. I've got resources for it. You can click on the homepage, click on the all-in-one resource. We'll actually link it again in the MTG, the weekend update dashboard this week. But check this out. So if we took his current loan that he's got about a year left on and just kept on that path, we did a 1-1 buy down. Rate was 7.125 back in January. If you look at these charts here, and just be cautious of this. In December, look what happened. So early December 9th, we're at 419 on the yield. We ballooned, guys, in less than 1 month up to 478. So people that are trying to time the market, this person bought when rates were almost the highest they had been, and that was really to start off 2025. Well, we flash forward to today. He's got over $100,000 in equity built in simply because he bought at a time where others weren't, got a better price, got some credits, got a seller buy down, and now we're sitting on a bucket of equity, and we've put money into the home using his down payment funds. So if he stayed with the loan that he has now, it'd take him 29 years, total interest, total expense, almost $2 million. If we go to our all-in-one loan, he makes a direct deposit each month into his all-in-one loan account, right? It's 100% liquid, the funds that go in there, but it reduces his balance overnight, reduces his interest charge overnight. And if he were able to just make his direct deposits and spend about $80,000 a year out of the money going in, so he's not changing his budget, he's still spending $6,500 to $7,000 a month out of the checking account for which his pay stubs go into direct deposit, he would pay his loan off in less than 8 years. He could then take the money that he's making towards his mortgage payment and start investing it in under 8 years. So if you look at a 30-year plan for a young dad, let me show you this. So he saves almost $1 million in interest in this scenario. His interest rate starts at the high sixes, so it's not the lowest rate that people are waiting for. It's an adjustable mortgage that will go down as the Fed brings rates down. So he won't need to do anything other than make direct deposits, spend money as he normally does, and keep doing that for 8 years until his mortgage is paid off. Check out the wealth accumulation here. So on the right-hand side, we do this for every one of our clients that gets the all-in-one loan. At just a 3% appreciation, over 30 years, the home's going to be worth close to $3 million. But by being able to start to invest in himself, basically take his mortgage payment and pay himself after 96 months at the rate of about $5,600 a month, he would generate an investment account over the life of a regular loan, $2.5 million. So with a regular loan, not having the ability to invest extra, he's still got a home worth $3 million. But having an all-in-one mortgage, the financial flexibility that it affords, able to start paying himself investment dollars in less than 10 years, use the remaining term to build and accumulate wealth of over $2.5 million. I want to close this out and go back to results here and show you one other thing that I think is really important. People are always looking for ways to save money. They need access to any extra equity they may put towards their principal, any capital they may put towards their principal, because we know costs are going up. Healthcare is another big thing that's going to go up next year. Let's look at the pay down graph, return to results. Let me go. I really want to show you this summary. Here we go. So his average minimum monthly payment is $2,300 on over an $800,000 loan. Average principal reduced monthly over $8,700. And this is the big kicker. So in a scenario like this, the effective interest rate that he would pay on over $800,000 borrowed, 1.683. Guys, not even a war or a pandemic is going to bring you to an interest rate sub 2%. I don't want either of those things to happen. What I want is when we've got an economy that's actually doing well, it could be doing better, but I want people to be able to take advantage of something like this, put the power in their own hands to minimize their interest costs, and then have full flexibility and access to equity. The biggest thing about paying additional principal payments, which you're always able to do with a traditional mortgage, is you're kind of locking that away. So if you have extra and you put it towards your mortgage, it's locked up. If you have an all-in-one loan, you put it towards your mortgage, you simply save money, but still have access to the funds. One last thing I want to show you, our highlight. Let's just go to this, given what day it is, the Poltergeist home. It's amazing. You can buy a single family residence with a pool in Southern California for less than 1.3 million. Apparently it just needs to be the home from the storied horror film Poltergeist. So I'll link this, check this out. The person who bought it, pretty creative. She actually restored the property interior, both furniture and everything, to what some of you may remember, one of the scariest horror films of 80s, my generation, Poltergeist. So check that out. Listen, I hope you guys had a wonderful, you'll get this on Saturday, so I hope you had a wonderful Halloween. Eat way too much candy in preparation for all the holiday candy you're going to be eating and Thanksgiving dinners, etc. I appreciate you guys watching. Make sure to share the mtgdashboard.com with your sphere of clients. It can help them understand what's happening in the mortgage market. And then make sure to save Weekend Up, WKND.com, to your cell phone and to your browser. I appreciate you guys. Went a little bit long. Have a wonderful Halloween. I'll see you next week.